This is export sales here today on Thursday, July 10th. Starting out here with corn, really strong numbers this week. Old crop sales, 49.7 million bushels. That was more than double of what we saw last week. So really, really good to see there. Also the highest we've seen in about 2 months for old crop corn. So nice, nice way to start it off. Sales were led by Mexico and Japan. So pretty much just the normal buyers there. New crop sales on corn were also pretty strong at 35 million bushels, which that was pretty far above expectations as well. New crop sales right now at 214 million versus just 143 at this time last year. So corn's also for new crop off to the best start we've seen in about 3 years. So good to see there. Looking towards tomorrow's report, I'd expect exports to be increased by 100 plus million bushels, but on the flip side, the feed and residual, I'd expect that to drop close to 100 million as well. So overall carryout, I'm not expecting a big change there. So moving on to the soy complex, which had a pretty strong week. Beans had old crop sales at 18.5 million bushels, which is super solid for this time of year. Normally, beans are slowing down to, if not stopped, due to South American harvest on beans being so far concluded. But right now, the U.S. is still continuing to sell beans, and if you look at FOB pricing, right now the U.S. is cheaper than Brazil on corn and beans, so good to see that. At this point, beans do have enough old crop sales to meet USDA expectations. The question is really going to be how do the shipments do over these last about 8 weeks or so, and how much of that those sales get rolled into new crop. But other than that, one thing I thought was a little interesting, largest sale this week was actually the unknown. So interesting to see who that turns out to be. New crop sales were just 9.1 million bushels, nothing super fun there. Switching over, meal had pretty solid sales, 207,000 tons. At this point, meal needs to average just 34 tons per week going forward. I wouldn't be shocked to see meal have some kind of increase in tomorrow's report for exports, but I'm not expecting a large change by any means. New crop meal also had really strong sales of 370.8 thousand tons, so good to keep track of that. New crop meal solidly ahead of last year, so good to see there as well. Finishing out here, soy complex oil, just minor sales, 4,000 tons. Going forward, soy oil needs to average about 6.1 per week. So oil actually needing to step up the pace a little bit, which after they've raised the expectations so many times, it sounds kind of weird to say. Finishing out final crop here, wheat sales were really solid, 20.9 million bushels. Wheat so far in this new crop year has averaged 14.9 per week, and going forward is going to need to average 10 and a half to meet the USDA expectations. But wheat's got a long way to go, and as of right now, it's doing what it needs to. So good to see there. So overall, that is it for export sales here today on Thursday, July 10th.
This material has been prepared by a sales or trading employee or agent of Midwest Market Management and is or is in the nature of a solicitation. This material is not a research report prepared by of Midwest Market Management Research Department. By accepting this communication, you agree that you are an experienced user of the futures markets, capable of making independent trading decisions, and agree that you are not and will not rely solely on this communication in making trading decisions. Distribution in some jurisdictions may be prohibited or restricted by law. Persons in possession of this communication indirectly should inform themselves about and observe any such prohibition or restrictions. To the extent that you have received this communication indirectly and solicitations are prohibited in your jurisdiction without registration, the market commentary in this communication should not be considered a solicitation. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by simulated historical tests of strategies, is not indicative of future results. Trading advice is based on information taken from trades and statistical services and other sources that of Midwest Market Management believes are reliable. We do not guarantee that such information is accurate or complete, and it should not be relied upon as such. Trading advice reflects our good faith judgment at a specific time and is subject to change without notice. There is no guarantee that the advice we give will result in profitable trades.